The 15 small ships of Earth's diplomatic fleet hung motionless against the backdrop of stars, their worn metal hulls reflecting the distant light of the Galactic Council's home system. Admiral James Wilson stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Pioneer, watching the massive alien vessels surrounding his small fleet. Each alien ship dwarfed his entire squadron. Multiple ships approaching from the starboard side. Admiral, reported Officer Mark from his console. The Dark Spine Empire's delegation has arrived. Wilson nodded quietly, keeping his face carefully neutral as he observed the new arrivals. The Dark Spine ships were massive, black crystalline structures that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Their smallest escort vessel was 3 times the size of the Pioneer. "Open communications as planned," Wilson ordered, straightening his uniform. The view screen flickered to life, revealing the imposing figure of the Dark Spine commander. The alien's scaled face and glowing red eyes filled the screen. "This is the delegation from Earth." The Dark Spine commander's translator conveyed his mocking tone perfectly. "We expected something more impressive from a species requesting council membership." Wilson bowed slightly, playing his role. "We come in peace and hope to learn from our galactic neighbors." The commander's laugh echoed through the bridge. "Learn? Yes, you have much to learn, little humans. Your ships look like they barely achieved spaceflight. Do they even have basic shield technology?" In the background, Wilson's crew maintained their practiced expressions of embarrassment and submission. Officer Mark's fingers tightened on his console, but remained steady. The Galactic Council chamber was even more overwhelming than the ships. Massive crystalline structures house representatives from 50 species, all looking down at the human delegation from elevated platforms. The architecture itself seemed designed to intimidate newcomer races. Wilson stood at the speaker's podium, feeling the weight of hundreds of alien eyes upon him. He had rehearsed this moment countless times, knowing exactly how to present humanity's case and how it would be received. "Honorable council members," he began, "Earth extends its greetings and formally requests membership in the galactic community. We are a peaceful species, eager to learn and contribute to." "Contribute," interrupted a large tentacled being from the upper tier. "Your species hasn't even mastered basic gravitic manipulation. Your ships use primitive chemical propulsion." Murmurs of agreement spread through the chamber. The Dark Spine commander, seated in a prominent position, smiled with rows of sharp teeth. "We have much to offer beyond technology," Wilson continued, maintaining his humble demeanor. "Our culture, our art, our culture." The Dark Spine commander's voice boomed through the chamber. "We've studied your transmission history. Your planet still fights internal wars. You barely unified your world government 50 years ago. Your children playing with toys." Laughter echoed through the chamber. Wilson noticed how some species remained silent, studying the humans with more thoughtful expressions. But they were the minority. The council's chief speaker, a tall, luminous being, raised a hand for silence. "We have reviewed Earth's application for membership. While we appreciate your enthusiasm, we find your civilization lacks the basic technological and social development required for full membership. We recommend a probationary period of no less than 100 standard cycles." Wilson bowed deeply, hiding his eyes. "We understand and accept the council's wisdom." As the human delegation left the chamber, whispers and chuckles followed them. The Dark Spine commander's voice carried clearly. "Such a disappointment. I expected at least some entertainment from these humans." Back aboard the Pioneer, Wilson's crew maintained their dejected posture until they reached the privacy of the bridge. Only then did Officer Mark allow himself a small smile. "Message encoded and sent, Admiral," he whispered. "The Council bought it completely. Threat assessment data has been compiled." Wilson nodded, looking out at the massive alien ships surrounding his primitive fleet. If they only knew what was watching them from the darkness of space, hidden behind technology they couldn't even detect. "Take us home," he ordered. "Let them think they know everything about humanity's capabilities. He paused, allowing himself a brief smile. They'll learn the truth soon enough. The 15 small ships of Earth's diplomatic fleet turned and headed for home, leaving behind a council that thought they had humanity figured out. They couldn't have been more wrong. 50 years earlier, in an underground facility deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, humanity made a discovery that would change everything. Dr. Robert Mason stared at the test results on his screen, checking them for the 10th time. The small probe had traveled faster than light. Not just a little faster, thousands of times faster. His hand shook as he reached for his phone to call General Thompson. "Are you absolutely certain?" the general asked, standing in the lab 12 hours later. He watched as the team ran the test again. The probe disappeared and reappeared instantly, having traveled to Mars and back in less than a second. "Completely certain, sir," Dr. Mason replied. "We've done it. Real faster than light travel." The general's next words would shape humanity's future. "No one outside this room can know what we've really achieved." In the present day, Admiral Wilson walked through the massive hidden shipyard, carved into the dark side of the moon. Above him loomed the true pride of Earth's fleet, the Shadow of Terra. The massive ship stretched for 15 kilometers, its black hull absorbing all light that touched it. Unlike the small, primitive-looking ships he'd taken to the Galactic Council, this vessel represented humanity's real technological power. "Status report." He called out to his second-in-command, Commander Lisa Hayes, who waited near the ship's main entrance. "All systems are operating perfectly, sir," she reported, falling into step beside him. "The quantum core is stable, and the AI defense networks are running at full capacity. We tracked 18 different alien scan attempts during your council visit. None of them detected our presence." Wilson nodded as they entered the ship's central command center. Hundreds of operators worked at advanced stations, monitoring Earth's real defense network. Holographic displays showed the positions of every alien vessel in the sector, while others tracked the movements of Earth's hidden fleet. "Show me the dark spine vessels," Wilson ordered. A detailed hologram appeared, showing the inner workings of the alien ships that had mocked Earth's fleet. Their technology, while impressive to less advanced races, was painfully obvious to Earth's scanners. "Their shield technology has 3 major weaknesses," Commander Hayes explained, highlighting specific points in the hologram. "Their weapons are powerful but slow to target, and their faster-than-light drives are primitive compared to ours." Wilson remembered the day, 15 years ago, when Earth's leaders made their final decision about first contact. They had gathered in this same room, looking at similar scans of the first alien ships they detected. History teaches us that when advanced civilizations meet less advanced ones, it rarely ends well for the less advanced, General Thompson had said back then. He was older, but his mind was still sharp. "So we'll make sure they think we're the less advanced civilization." The plan had worked perfectly. Earth built 2 fleets, one for show, full of deliberately primitive-looking ships, and one that remained hidden, full of humanity's true technological achievements. Every primitive ship in the diplomatic fleet was actually a highly advanced vessel disguised to look weak and outdated. "The Shadow of Terra's sister ships are in position," Commander Hayes reported, bringing Wilson back to the present. "The Dark Spine Empire won't know what hit them if they try anything." Wilson walked to the main window, looking out at the vast shipyard. Hundreds of vessels were docked there, each more advanced than anything the Galactic Council had seen. Swarms of automated drones moved between them, carrying out maintenance and updates. "Has the Council stopped laughing at our primitive ships yet?" he asked with a small smile. "The last transmission we intercepted suggests they're still quite amused," Hayes replied. "The Dark Spine commander is apparently telling everyone who will listen about Earth's admirable little fleet." Wilson's smile faded as he thought about the next phase of the plan. "Let's hope they keep underestimating us. The longer they laugh, the more time we have to prepare." "And if they attack?" Hayes asked quietly. Wilson turned to face the massive holographic display showing Earth's true military might. Then they'll learn why humanity chose to hide its strength rather than show it. Sometimes, the smartest predator is the one that looks like prey. The shadow of Terra's quantum core pulsed softly, its power hidden from the universe by technology none of their new galactic neighbors could detect. Humanity was ready for whatever came next, whether the aliens kept laughing or not. The attack came at dawn, Earth time. Lord Krax of the Darkspine Empire watched from his command ship as his fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel near Earth's first colony on Mars. 200 Darkspine warships, their black crystalline hulls gleaming in the sunlight, moved into attack formation. "Send the message," he ordered, his scaled face reflecting in the command screen. "Let's see how these primitive humans handle real power." On Mars, the colony's warning systems activated instantly. 5,000 human colonists watched their screens as the massive alien fleet approached. The dark spine ships looked like sharp black diamonds against the red Martian sky. Lord Krax's message played on all frequencies. "People of Earth, your weakness has made you prey. Surrender your colonies and resources to the Dark Spine Empire, or face destruction. You have 1 hour to decide." In the colony's control center, colony leader Mike Thompson kept his face calm as he sent out the distress call to Earth. Around him, colonists rushed to the emergency shelters, following long-practiced evacuation drills. "Sir," his assistant called out, "Earth fleet reports they're 8 hours away at their maximum speed." The pause was slight but meaningful. They both knew about the fleet's true capabilities. Thompson nodded. "Send the prepared response to the Dark Spine ships." The message was simple. "We request time to contact Earth's government." Lord Krax laughed when he received it. "Look at them beg," he told his bridge crew. "They can't even defend their own colony. Their patrol ships are running away." Indeed, the 3 small Earth ships that had been guarding Mars were already retreating, their engines seemingly struggling at full power. The sight made the Darkspine crews laugh harder. "Their ships move so slowly," one of Krax's officers commented. "It's almost sad." After exactly 1 hour, Lord Krax gave the order. "Begin the attack. Show them what real power looks like." The Darkspine fleet moved forward, their weapons charging. The first shots lit up the Martian sky, streaking toward the colony's main dome. But something strange happened. The shots hit nothing. "What's happening?" Krax demanded. "Where are the explosions?" His weapons officer checked the readings. "My lord, the shots. They're passing through the colony. Like it's not really there." "Impossible." Krax slammed his fist on his command chair. "Launch fighters. Bomb that colony until..." He never finished his sentence. The entire bridge crew fell silent as new readings appeared on their screens. The colony was disappearing. Not being destroyed, simply fading away, along with all signs of human presence on Mars. Within minutes, their scans showed nothing but empty Martian desert. "Find them," Krax roared. "They must have some kind of cloaking technology. They can't have." "My lord," his sensor officer interrupted, voice shaking. "Message from the Earth ships we were chasing." The message was just 2 words. "Nice try." Then the small Earth ships vanished too. Krax stood up, his scales darkening with rage. "Launch full planetary assault. I want every inch of that planet's surface." "Sir," another officer called out, getting strange readings from the surface. "Energy spikes, patterns we've never seen before. Deep underground, in bunkers that the Darkspine scans couldn't detect, the real Mars colony continued its normal operations. The holographic projectors that had fooled the alien fleet powered down smoothly, their quantum-based technology far beyond anything the Darkspine Empire possessed." Colony leader Thompson watched the alien fleet's confusion through real-time feeds provided by Earth's hidden sensor network. He allowed himself a small smile as he sent a coded message to Earth. Phase 1 complete. They took the bait. In orbit, Lord Krax was still shouting orders when his fleet detected multiple Earth ships jumping away from the system. Their engines still looked primitive and slow, their retreat seemingly panicked. "Chase them," he ordered. "Follow those cowards back to their homeworld." As the Dark Spine fleet moved to pursue, they never noticed the real human sensors watching their every move. They never detected the massive shape of the Shadow of Terra, hidden in plain sight, observing their tactics and weaknesses. The trap was set. Now it was time for humanity to spring it. Deep in his command bunker, Thompson sent one final message to Earth. "They're all yours, Admiral Wilson." Lord Crax stood triumphant on his bridge, watching his fleet chase the retreating human ships. The small Earth vessels tumbled through space, their engines appearing to misfire and struggle. It was almost too easy. "Look at them run," he laughed. "Send word to the Council. Tell them how the mighty Darkspine Empire deals with primitive races who don't know their place." That's when everything changed. First, the stars disappeared. Not all at once, but in a massive, expanding circle of perfect darkness. Crax's officers stared at their instruments in confusion. "My lord," his sensor chief called out, voice shaking. "Something's blocking our view, but our sensors show nothing there." Then they saw it. The Shadow of Terra revealed itself slowly, like a massive curtain of darkness pulling back. First the bow appeared, then the main body, stretching longer than any ship the Darkspine Empire had ever seen. 15 kilometers of advanced human engineering emerged from its quantum cloak. "Impossible," Crax whispered. His largest ships were barely 2 kilometers long. This human vessel could have carried his entire fleet in its launch bays. New sensor alerts screamed across every Darkspine ship. All around them, space itself seemed to tear open. 500 human warships emerged from quantum space, their hulls gleaming with technology far beyond anything the Council races possessed. These weren't the primitive vessels they'd mocked at the Council meeting. These ships looked like they belonged to a civilization thousands of years more advanced. On the Shadow of Terra's bridge, Admiral Wilson stood calmly, watching the Darkspine fleet's reaction. "Open a channel to all frequencies," he ordered. "Let's address the Council too. I know they're watching." The Admiral's image appeared on every screen in every ship within 50 light years. Gone was the humble, submissive human who had accepted the Council's mockery. In his place stood a commander of one of the most powerful fleets ever built. "Greetings, Lord Crax," Wilson said, his voice level. "I believe it's time we showed you what a human fleet really looks like." The Shadow of Terra's launch bays opened. Millions of combat drones poured out, their quantum drives letting them move in ways that seemed to break the laws of physics. They swarmed around the Darkspine ships like angry insects around a helpless animal. "To the Galactic Council," Wilson continued, knowing the Council members were watching emergency broadcasts of the event. "We apologize for our earlier deception, but we needed to understand your true intentions." On the Council world, the alien representatives watched in stunned silence as more human ships appeared. Each one carried weapons that their best scientists couldn't even understand. "Your technology," the Council's chief speaker whispered. "Those ships, they're not possible. We would have detected." "Would you?" Wilson asked. "Like you detected our observation posts in your systems, or our quantum corridors through your space, or the Shadow of Terra when it visited the Council world last week." The silence that followed was deafening. Around the Darkspine fleet, the human drones took position. Not one had fired a shot. They didn't need to. The message was clear. The Darkspine ships were completely surrounded and hopelessly outmatched. "Now then," Wilson said, looking directly at Lord Crax's image on his screen. "Should we discuss the proper way to treat new civilizations, or would you prefer a demonstration of why humanity chose to hide its strength rather than show it?" Lord Crax, for the first time in his life, found himself speechless. The mighty Darkspine fleet, pride of their empire, looked like toys next to the human vessels. We acknowledge humanity's power," he managed to say. "What are your terms?" Wilson allowed himself a small smile. "First, you're going to apologize to every race your empire has bullied. Then, we're going to have a long talk about peace. The shadow of Terra's quantum core pulsed, sending waves of energy that made the dark spine ship's sensors go dark. When they came back online, the human drones had moved even closer. The giant had awoken. Now the galaxy would learn why humanity had chosen to play weak. Sometimes, the most dangerous predator is the one smart enough to hide its teeth, and humanity had very, very sharp teeth indeed. Lord Krax made his final mistake just as the sun rose over Earth's moon. "Fire everything," he screamed, his pride overwhelming his judgment. "Show these humans what real weapons can do." The Dark Spine fleet released their full arsenal. Thousands of energy beams and plasma torpedoes streaked across space toward the human ships. Lord Krax smiled, expecting to see at least some of the human vessels destroyed. His smile vanished seconds later. None of the weapons reached their targets. Each shot simply disappeared, absorbed by invisible quantum shields that the humans had placed around their fleet. On the shadow of Terra's bridge, Admiral Wilson watched calmly. "Time to show them what real weapons look like," he said quietly. "Target their shields. Minimal power." Commander Hayes nodded. "Quantum disruptors ready, sir." Targeting their shield generators. The human response came without warning or flash. No visible beams, no bright explosions, just silence. Then every shield in the Dark Spine fleet failed at once. What just happened?" Lord Krax demanded, hitting his command console. "Get our shields back online." His engineering chief's voice shook as he replied. "My lord, the shield generators. They're not damaged. They're just gone. Like they were never there." Wilson's voice came through their comms again. "That was 1% power, Lord Krax. Would you like to see what our weapons can do at full strength?" To demonstrate, a single human drone approached a nearby moon where the Dark Spine Empire had built a military base. The drone, no bigger than a small car, fired one shot. The entire moon cracked in half. "By the ancient stars," one of Krax's officers whispered. The shadow of Terra moved forward, its massive form casting a shadow over the Dark Spine fleet. More human ships appeared from quantum space, each carrying weapons that could end the battle in seconds. "Your tactical computers are trying to find a weakness in our defenses," Wilson said. "They won't. Your sensors are attempting to understand our technology. They can't. Your best scientists would need another 1,000 years to grasp the basics of what you're seeing." As if to prove his point, a swarm of human drones phased through the solid hull of Krax's flagship, appearing on the bridge. The Dark Spine crew couldn't even touch them. Their hands passed right through the machines. "Impossible," Krax whispered. "Nothing can pass through solid matter." "Nothing in your science, perhaps," Wilson replied. "We passed that limitation centuries ago." Across the Dark Spine fleet, more drones appeared inside engine rooms, weapon stations, and command centers. Not attacking, just watching, proving that no place was safe from human technology. "We could have destroyed your empire the moment you entered our space," Wilson continued. "We could have ended this fight before you knew it began. But humanity doesn't want to rule through fear." The shadow of Terra's main weapon powered up, causing strange lights to dance across its hull. The energy readings made the Dark Spine sensors overload and shut down. "This is your one warning," Wilson said. "The next race you try to bully might not be as merciful as we are. The next primitive species you mock might decide to demonstrate their power differently." Lord Krax, his scales pale with fear, finally understood. The humans hadn't hidden their technology because they were weak. They had hidden it because they were strong enough to be patient. "We surrender," he said quietly. "Unconditionally." Wilson nodded. "Wise choice. Now about those colonies you've taken from other races." As the human fleet began disarming the Dark Spine ships, news spread across the galaxy. Videos of the battle, or rather, the complete lack of one, reached every world in the Council. The message was clear. Humanity had never been weak. They had simply been wise enough to watch and wait, letting potential enemies reveal themselves through their own actions. In the darkness of space, the shadow of Terra's quantum core pulsed again, its power a reminder to all watching. Sometimes the quietest thunder is the most deadly. The galaxy would never be the same. In the great chamber of the Galactic Council, panic had replaced mockery. "We must establish peaceful relations with Earth immediately," a tentacled counselor argued, their previous arrogance gone. "Before they decide we're all threats." The council members who had laughed loudest at humanity's primitive ships now spoke the softest. The massive screens surrounding the chamber showed the shadow of Terra and Earth's true fleet, their power making even the oldest council races feel young and inexperienced. The chief speaker stood at his podium, looking much less confident than during Earth's rejection. "How do we approach a civilization that has hidden such power? That could have destroyed any of us at any time." His answer came as Admiral Wilson walked into the chamber. This time, he didn't walk in humble and bent. He walked with the quiet confidence of someone who never needed to prove his strength. "Good morning," Wilson said simply. "I believe we need to revise our previous discussion about Earth's membership." The chamber fell silent. Every alien representative remembered how they had mocked this human, how they had laughed at his weak fleet. "Admiral," the chief speaker started, "we wish to formally apologize for our previous judgment." Wilson raised his hand. "No apology needed. You acted exactly as we expected. That's why we came in peace, showing only our older technology. We wanted to see who would be kind to those they thought weaker." Around the chamber, several council members looked down in shame. Others, the ones who had shown respect even to a seemingly primitive race, sat straighter. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the Dark Spine Empire was falling apart. Lord Krax's failed attack had revealed their weakness, and subjected worlds were rising up. The mighty empire that had mocked humanity now begged for Earth's help in maintaining order. "We're receiving requests for protection from 17 different worlds," Commander Hayes reported to Wilson through his secure quantum link. "All of them former Dark Spine territories." Wilson nodded, addressing the council again. "Earth doesn't seek empire. We don't want to rule or control. We simply want peace." "And if peace is threatened?" asked a small bird-like counselor. As if in answer, the chamber's view screens showed a new image. Lord Krax, in his desperation, had gathered his last loyal ships for one final attack. 300 Darkspine vessels emerged from faster-than-light travel near Mars. The Council watched in awe as Earth's defense grid activated. Quantum fields appeared around the attacking fleet, and in mere seconds, every Darkspine ship found itself back in its home port, their weapon systems completely removed by technology that seemed like magic. "That's impossible," one counselor whispered. "No one can teleport entire fleets across galaxy sectors." "Humanity has had a long time to develop in secret," Wilson explained. "We learned from Earth's history that when civilizations meet, the more advanced ones often destroy the less advanced. So we hid our progress, watching to see who would be friend or foe." New reports flooded in. The Dark Spine Empire's last allies were surrendering. Former victim worlds were forming a new alliance under Earth's protection. The galaxy's balance of power had shifted completely in less than a day. "We have terms," Wilson continued, his voice firm but fair. "First, all council races must respect the rights of developing civilizations. Second, technology will be shared with peaceful races ready to use it responsibly. Third, any act of unprovoked aggression will be met with immediate response." The council members looked at each other. They knew it wasn't really a negotiation. Earth could enforce these terms at will. "We accept," the chief speaker said quickly. Wilson smiled. "Good. Now let's discuss how we can help all our civilizations grow together. After all," he looked around the chamber, "we're all neighbors in this galaxy." As the council began its most important session in history, the shadow of Terra remained in orbit above, a quiet reminder that the age of bullying younger races was over. Humanity had changed everything. Not with violence, not with conquest, but with patience, wisdom, and the power to enforce peace. The tables hadn't just turned. They had been completely reset. 1 year after the Dark Spine incident, the galaxy had changed beyond recognition. Admiral Wilson stood on the observation deck of the Shadow of Terra, watching ships from 30 different species dock at Earth's new galactic exchange station. The massive space station, built using human quantum technology, served as a symbol of the new era. "Status report," he asked Commander Hayes, who approached with a data tablet. "Better than we hoped, sir," she replied. "The former Dark Spine territories are stable. Their victim worlds have formed a mutual defense alliance," and she smiled slightly. 17 previously unknown civilizations have revealed themselves. They were hiding their technology, just like we were. Wilson nodded, unsurprised. Earth hadn't been the only world smart enough to learn from history. Below them, Earth glowed blue and peaceful. The planet had become the center of galactic diplomacy, not through force, but through wisdom. The sight of the Shadow of Terra in orbit reminded everyone of humanity's power, but it was Earth's fairness that truly earned respect. Lord Crax's trial finished yesterday, Hayes continued. The Council sentenced him to help rebuild the worlds his empire destroyed. Under supervision, of course. The former Dark Spine leader now worked alongside the people he once tried to conquer, learning the hard way that true strength came from helping others grow, not keeping them down. In the Galactic Council chamber, now relocated to the exchange station, representatives from 100 worlds discussed the future. The old council members who had mocked humanity now sat equally with races they once called primitive. The chamber's new design placed everyone at the same level. No more elevated platforms for the supposedly superior races. The human approach to advanced technology has changed everything, the chief speaker admitted during a session. Their willingness to help others, their patience in testing our characters. We have much to learn. But the biggest surprise came during a private meeting in Wilson's office aboard the Shadow of Terra. As he reviewed reports, a quantum communication arrived from deep space, far beyond the galaxy's edge. "Admiral," a new voice said, its translation perfect. "We've been watching. Your handling of the revelation was elegant." Wilson smiled. "I wondered when you'd contact us. How long have you been observing?" "Since before you reached space," the voice replied. "We are the Watchers. Like humanity, we believe advanced civilizations must prove their wisdom before receiving new power. You've proven yours." Hayes, standing nearby, realized the truth. "You're the ones who left the faster-than-light technology for us to find 50 years ago. Yes, we leave such gifts for species who show promise. Then we watch. Most races immediately show their power. Try to dominate. You hid yours, used it wisely, protected others." Wilson looked out at the galaxy spinning peacefully before them. "Will you reveal yourselves to the Council?" "Not yet, but soon. First, let's discuss humanity's role as a teacher. Many young races will need guidance in the ages to come." As the conversation continued, Wilson reflected on humanity's journey. From a species pretending to be weak, they had become the galaxy's guardians. Not through force, but through wisdom. In the docking bay below, the small, primitive-looking ships that had once amused the Council remained on display. They served as a reminder. Never judge by appearances, never underestimate the quiet ones, and never mistake patience for weakness. "One last thing, Admiral," Commander Hayes said, checking her final report. "The Shadow of Terra's sister ships have completed their patrols of the outer sectors. Should we reveal that we have more ships this size?" Wilson smiled, looking at the vastness of space. "Not yet, Commander. Some surprises are best kept quiet. After all," he turned to face the galactic core, where countless new civilizations waited to be discovered. "We're all students in this universe. The moment you think you're the strongest, the wisest, or the most advanced." He left the sentence unfinished, but Hayes understood. Somewhere out there, just like the Watchers had done with humanity, other ancient races were testing younger civilizations, waiting to see who would prove worthy of greater knowledge. The galaxy spun on, its new order established not by force of arms, but by the wisdom to know when to show power and when to hide it. Humanity's greatest victory hadn't come from their superior technology. It had come from remembering to be humble, even when they were strong. The shadow of Terra's quantum core pulsed softly, its power now a promise of protection rather than a threat. The age of mockery was over. The age of wisdom had begun.